Hello, everyone. This is Simon Reza. I am a PhD student at the Biomedical Engineering Department of Stony Brook University. So today I'm going to present two of my recent projects. The title is Computational Biomechanics in the Advancement of Transcatheter Aortic Valve Replacement Technology. So many of you know that aortic stenosis is a condition that is characterized by the narrowing of the aortic valve, which restricts the blood flow from the heart into the body. It affects approximately 2 to 9% of the population over the age of 65. There are several different ways to treat this aortic stenosis patients. One is surgical aortic valve replacement, which is a highly invasive procedure. And the other one is transcatheter aortic valve replacement, which is a minimally invasive procedure. As you can see from this right animation here, the TAVR device is placed on top of the native calcified leaflet through small incision through either the femoral artery or the thoracic artery, right? So over the last decade, TAVR has performed really well. That is why it has been approved for low-risk patients recently. However, there are some post-procedural complications associated with it. So the clinicians are really concerned about these two post-procedural complications, one being the post-TAVR cardiac conduction abnormality, and the other one is leaflet thrombosis post-TAVR. So from this animation here, you can see that the TAVR prosthesis is placed really close to the bundle of his, and it stretches the conduction fibers, right? As we know that the stretch on the conduction fiber can reduce the conduction velocity, which causes post-TAVR conduction abnormalities. And those patients may need permanent pacemaker implantation, right? Now, also, when we look at this leaflet thrombosis from these figures here, we can see that the TAVR leaflets are also prone to thrombus formation and also degeneration, right? So how can we mitigate these problems? So what we have done is we use these advanced computational techniques to come up with frameworks that can assess this post-procedural complications risk. So I'll present two of my recent projects. The top one here is the risk assessment of post-TAVR cardiac conduction abnormality. To do that, what we have done here is we used dynamic high-fidelity 4-chamber beating heart model, which is developed by Simulia Living Heart project team. So here we used a bi-domain model. On the left, you can see the electrical model and the structural model here. So we simulate the electrical action potential transfer through the heart and then use those results as the boundary condition for the structural model. And then we deploy this TAVR device in 3 different implantation depth and also 3 different pre-existing conduction abnormality conditions. Then we have measured the mechanical factors in the proximity to the bundle of his and the TAVR prosthesis. So based on the comparative analysis, we were able to observe the associated risk with higher or deeper implantation depth and also pre-existing conduction abnormalities. On the second project, on the bottom figure and then the animations here, you can see we tried to develop a framework to assess the risk of post-TAVR leaflet thrombosis. So as we know that leaflet thrombosis is, associated with the platelet stresses. So we combined fluid structure interaction and also Lagrangian particle tracking techniques to assess this post-TAVR leaflet thrombosis risk. So from this bottom left figure here, you can see that we did patient-specific model reconstruction, and then we used virtual patient modeling techniques to come up with virtual patients with varying sinotubular junction size, which covers the spectrum of the size of sinotubular junction, so that we can understand the effect of the size of sinotubular junction in TAVR leaflet thrombosis. So then we used a finite element analysis technique to deploy these TAVR stents, and then we performed two-way coupled fluid-solid interaction on the TAVR leaflets. On this animation here, you can see that the velocity field, and then the second animation shows the platelets. So we released some particles in the velocity field, and then computed the stresses on the platelets. And then we we integrated the stresses over time for each particles and collapsed those data into a PDF graph that I'm going to explain in the next slide to be able to understand the relative risk of post-TAVR leaflet thrombosis. We also did the flow stagnation analysis, as you can see in this third animation here. And the forward animation shows the wall shear stress. So let's take a look at the results. In the first study, we observed that the implantation depth, when we increase the depth of the implantation, it significantly increases the risk of post-TAVR CCA. Also, interestingly, we have seen that the patient who already have right bundle branch block, pre-existing right bundle branch block, they tend to have higher stresses on the conduction fibers after TAVR deployment, which is also aligned with the clinical observations. So in the second project here, we have seen that when a patient has smaller sinotubular junction size, then the TAVR deployment is improper, and also it diminishes the hemodynamic performance of the TAVR devices. On the other hand, the larger STG size allows a proper deployment and a good hemodynamic performance. However, it comes with a cost. The cost is it increases the blood stasis and also the platelet stress accumulation, which gives us a really good understanding of why patients with larger STG or aortic outflow tract size tend to develop higher thrombosis on the leaflets. So that's that. And then in the future, we're trying to incorporate this frameworks into patient-specific full heart models. So as of now, we were able to develop techniques to morph the living human heart model to a patient-specific model from the patient CT data. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and hope to get feedbacks from you. Thank you.